Welcome to your magic moon message. This is the Peace Dealer. The moon is in Gemini and the sun is in Scorpio. We are bringing in a 210-degree angle with the moon and with the sun. So it's Scorpio season, and we have a Scorpio signature. This Gemini is the 8th house of Scorpio. Okay. While I want to say there's a lot to unpack here, what I'll say instead is that in order to really make sense of this transit, it'll be nice to give context through a weird analogy. So I'm going to talk about what this transit means every year. And then I'm going to talk about what this transit means in context to this year specifically. Every year, not specific to the northern or southern hemisphere, just every year, period. So 210-degree angle transits, regardless of the zodiac sign they are in, represent a second stage of harvest, as this comes after the full moon, which is going to be more of a Libran balanced aspect. So if you think that the new moon had you plant seeds, the full moon represents you harvesting seeds that broke through the ground, and now it's time for you to reap what you've sowed. The 8th house Scorpio signature portion every month in whatever zodiac sign it's in, given that the 8th house represents other people's money, opposite the 2nd house of your money, this is quite literally the part where after you've sowed your seeds, you are reaping what it is you've earned. And this, true to the 8th house, transforms the situation, similar to a financial transaction where you paid someone $5 and now you've transformed your situation by gaining an item, but that had to come with the loss of another item. All right, not the best example, but now if we put this in Scorpio season, the flavor of this quality of harvest is we're reaping true insight, intellectual understanding of psychoanalytical awareness. Basically, given that the sun in Scorpio transit will not only represent social transformation relative to previous analysis done and presented through Virgo and Libra season, but it also represents a shedding of your skin. So by the time you're harvesting that value through the moon in Taurus, now you're coming into a true understanding of not only how to put words to this transformative experience, but to also piss people off by really saying what's on your mind while you're already, like, similar to a scorpion, stinging them deep to the core of their soul. And a transit like this can account for a lot to be revealed and exposed that wasn't even meant to, just because of certain tells or the way people say things, tonality, people kind of, being triggered. That isn't necessarily the transit that forces that, but, just an idea of, what that could look like. Regardless, if you think that the moon in Gemini is not only giving you a mental thought provoking understanding of, you being able to see beneath the surface, as Virgo is like analyzing data and your physical experience, but psychoanalysis with Scorpio now peers deeper through your psychology. And given the past 3 weeks alone, maybe you've experienced or, stepped into this transformation, this death. And now what you'll find with the moon in Gemini is not only are you able to put words to the process, the words you're putting to the process in now applying this shift in your thoughts transforms this process entirely. And it's going to now take this change of perspective and it's going to shift into the moon in Cancer, and we're going to drive that perspective. So if Gemini is like the wind sail on a boat, transits to Gemini just shift perspective because we're following the GPS towards the true destination. And this will require, of course, updating our thoughts because we always update information all the time. Do we update information specific to moon transits in the sky? No, but it just so happens a transit like this highlights how much, you'll definitely understand, I won't say more or less, but relevantly towards what it is we're getting ready to complete in this cycle. So we're going to cardinally push forward what direction of feeling. Now, what that makes sense to relative to this year is the end of a dream that we've been in since 2012 collectively. And when we take into account as well the quality of how powerfully this Pluto Capricorn transit since 2008 has served to awaken, this collective decision making, exposing corporations and, giving Capricorn represents great power, leaders in power. This, you can also say, represents collectively, if we were one collective body, surgery on our body, surgery to awaken to a level that allows us to shift, not just as a humanity, but blah, 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 jargon, spiritual jargon. So when you go through intensive surgery, normally anesthetics are applied, and 2012 to 2024 represents Neptune in Pisces. It's the rulership in Pisces of imagination, illusions, delusions. And this is where, in disassociating your mind from the physical, you're able to bear more of the intense pain that can come to your body being worked and operated on. So go back to 2008 and think of all the intensity you've gone through there. Well, this laughing gas is over. You're stepping out of this as a collective. Everything we're collectively believing is shifting in front of your eyes. So a transit like this is not only taking into account 3 weeks ago how we began to transform and now begin the process of shifting out of this nightmare, dream and collective belief, but now prepare you to see the light in Sagittarius, where Mercury in Sagittarius is, and opposite Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is aligning your brain's processing ability to see and interpret into the higher meaning of all this information that you might have been overloaded with since May. All right. That has been not only leveling up Geminis, shout out to Geminis, we won this year, but also putting you in a position now with the moon in Gemini to align this intellectual transformative understanding with not only an update and evolution of how much more you can communicate and put words to things you didn't even know existed before, like, alien disclosure happening in the Pentagon, but Mercury opposite this, now taking this information, which you could look at Gemini as coding, and Mercury is the vision of the coding. That's the difference you could look at between Gemini and Sagittarius. Gemini is the coding on the computer, but when you run the program, it casts an image. That's Sagittarius. You're seeing, oh, this is what it means. So this alignment is going to prepare you for Mercury retrograde in like another week. But that alignment alone is going to work towards getting ready to change your perspective about a lot of stuff you've been lied to. I mean, you may have believed for a long time. And the moon right now, 7 days ago was in Pisces, and now it's in Gemini. So you're integrating this previous shift in your beliefs by now updating it with the true understanding of a thought process that can support these new beliefs that you integrated in order to facilitate more of this transformation. Basically, over the past 3 months, you've been now awakening at a radical level supernatural mechanics and phenomena that science probably hasn't even caught up to begin to explain, or they know and they're just not telling us for obvious reasons. And I'm not trying to make it a conspiracy. It doesn't be a conspiracy. But we can just say, obviously, maybe, there's just certain facets of anatomy, biology, and metaphysical facets of humanity that, given we may not be able to perceive outside of third dimensional structure, may just be under our nose and over our heads. That now, almost seemingly out of nowhere, you get flooded with practical information on not only how to harness this all, but to get ready to step into a new era and paradigm where there are children who are born with all of this mastered, with which could have taken you 30 years to get, or 40 or 50 to get to this point. So, it's a lot of exposition that's coming into next year as well. But now, in aligning this integration of previously held beliefs that you update every 28 days, the square to Saturn is reinforcing the integrity of these beliefs you've updated to make sure that your language reflects what it is you've shifted in your beliefs, so that when the moon goes into Cancer, you can feel what those beliefs and thoughts look like. All right, that was a lot of word salad. What the fuck does all of that mean? You're going to have your brain completely hijacked into seeing the meaning of what it is you have not only transformed about your psyche and character, but what you're actively evolving as it comes to wrapping your own mind around supernatural gifts and abilities that you have. There's a powerful synchronization process that's going to continue happening over the next month and a half. And you're accelerating the rate at which you can come into a thorough understanding of phenomena that you may have only really seen in science fiction and fantasy narratives and modules, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the other reason why that's important is because you're now putting in your own language. This isn't like a textbook or official peer-reviewed journal research. You're integrating your own experience and personal language into your understanding of this, and this is going to now shift your perspective before the sun goes into Sagittarius. The next mutable moon transit we'll have, the sun will be in Sag, and you'll begin to see. So this is what we call true transformation. There could be a transformation state you come to master, but given the later square to Neptune and Pisces, this will help you in the understanding of logic and truth through Gemini, not only see through lies that have been said previously, but help you break through illusions or false beliefs that may have kept you, in your own delusional stupor, or at least just, shift that perspective and sailboat so you're headed in the right direction. This is also going to include a weird level of paranormal activity as Pluto's getting ready to go back into Aquarius, and the telepathic breakthrough that everyone's feeling over the world is just going to feel weirder than ever, but you're going to get stronger than ever. So, I mean, do what you will with that, and I hope you enjoy this transit. It's gonna feel really good once it moves into Cancer, but for now, be a little bit comfortable with confusion, and yeah, get ready to catch a body. Accomplice. Peace.